In this video, I'm going to show you how to solve K-maps and how to draw logic diagram. I am referring to the question bank that is provided by the university, and in the unit number 4 of your question bank, you will find the question number 13, which contains a lot of sub questions, and they are all referring to the reduction using KMAP. I am going to solve the last problem, that is the problem number F. Now before we solve the problem, let's look at what is the question as such. In the question, we are supposed to solve the following using KMAP and draw the logic diagram for the minimized expression. So one thing you must understand here is you are supposed to minimize these terms. So whatever min terms that are provided over here, you are supposed to minimize them, and for the minimized expression you are supposed to draw the logic diagram. So let's look at the question, and the question is you are given 4 variables a, b, c, d, and you are given a few min terms. I'm going to solve this one because there are 4 variables are there. We are supposed to create a K-map with the 4 variables. Now the 4 variables are a, b, c, d, and I'm going to take the for AB here and CD along the horizontal direction. As you are aware, we are writing 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. What is the significance? Significance is between the two adjacent position, only one of the bit is changing. So that is the way of writing it. One of them must change. So if you look at the next two, between the two adjacent, you will notice that only one bit is changing. Between the next two, one bit is changing. Okay. If you compare the first and the last one, you will notice that only one bit is changing. That is the reason why we don't write 1, 0 here and 1, 1 here. So remember that. Also along the bottom direction, that is along the horizontal direction, so you will notice that all the values are written in such a way that along the adjacent position only one bit is changing, only one bit is changing, only one bit is changing. Now if you look at this particular box over here, this is the combination of AB and CD. Now in this case, the values of AB are 0, 0, and the value of CD is also 0, 0. You know very well, binary all zeros means it is the 0 itself. Now let's look at the second position over here, and in the second position the value that is corresponding to the AB and corresponding to the CD, the values will be AB is 0, 0, and CD, the value will be 0, 1. So 0, 0, 0, 1, you know very well, binary, it is 1. Okay. Next, let's look at this corner over here. Sorry, let's look at this particular corner and particular cell. Along here, the value of AB is 0, 0, and along here value of CD is 1, 1. So I'm going to write it as 0, 0, 1, 1. So what is this one? This is 2 to the power 0 2 to the power 1. You know very well 2 to the power 1 is 2. 2 to the power 0 is 1. 2 plus 1 is going to be 3. And that is what is written over here. What about this value? So this value, if you look at here, so corresponding to the AB direction and CD direction, if you look at this particular point, so this will be AB is 0 0 and the next one will be 1 0. So this is 2 to the power 0 and 2 to the power 1. So 2 to the power 1 is 2 only. So you get the value here as 2 here, and that is what I have written. Same thing is for the remaining side. So when you are writing it, always write in this order so that it is easy. So you start with 0, 1, 2 and then 3. Similarly 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now because look at here, this one is 1 1, so you leave this one and come to this next one. So this is 8, 9, 10 and 11, and then you start with this value 12, 13, 14 and 15. So this particular corner and this particular row, okay, sorry, this particular row and this particular column, they are actually misplaced. So in a simple sense, so you have to write them interchangeably. Now coming to, once you have drawn this particular box, then it is easier for you to map them. Now before we map them, let's look at a few other things. If you have zeros here, that means it is C bar, even though you write it as C bar and D bar, this is proper. I cannot get this bar over. I didn't get a font that will give me bar over. So I am writing C prime and D prime. It means the same thing. It is the C bar and D bar. So when you have 0, you take the complement of that variable. In this case, if you look at here, it is 0, that means A's complement, that is A bar, and B's complement, that is B bar. Here if you notice, A's complement, but B is 1, so when you have this value 1, you write as it is. So here both AB is 1, so you write it as it is, and here you notice A is 1, so you write the full form of it, and B is complemented. Similarly, here C is complemented, D is proper. Here both B and C and D are proper. Here C is proper and D is complemented. So with this, let's continue with the mapping. So this is what is given in your question paper or in your question bank. So I have copied this min terms as it is over here. Now we are supposed to map them. So how do we map them? So you take this one. I have some issues with my mouse, so it just okay, so let's start with that. So I have 0 here, and 0 means I'm going to refer to this m value from here, min term. So you, wherever you have this value, you make it as 1. So this 0 is 1. Next 1, remember you are referring to the m min term value. This is 1. 3, that is m3 is 1. 2 is not specified, so you mark it as 0. In this expression, 2 is not specified, so whichever is not specified, they are all zeros. Whichever numbers that are specified, corresponding min terms has to be made 1. So if you look at the next one, and that is the 4, so corresponding min term, that is this one, is made as 1. So this is 1. Similarly 5, we'll look at the min term 5, and make it as 1. 7 is mentioned, so 7 make it as 1. Remaining term 6 is not specified, so make it as 0. After that 12 is specified, so search for the 12. So you have 12 here, so you know very well these two rows are interchanged. So 12 min term, make it as 1. 13, search for the min term 13, make it as 1. 15, make it as 1. So this is what you are supposed to do it. Some of you don't draw this particular thing properly. If you draw this, you will get some marks for the examination. So just mapping this, you will get it. It is not that you will get all the 5 marks straight away, or the 4 marks straight away for the solution. Even drawing this, you will get the marks. So whichever terms are here, corresponding min term values or corresponding min term positions must be mapped as 1. Remaining terms, all of them has to be made as zeros. So this is first thing. Now once you've done that thing, then you have to group them together. Now grouping has to be done in the power of 2's. So you know very well, 2 to the power 0, that means only one term will be there in the group. 2 to the power 1, which is 2, that means 2 will be there in the group. 2 to the power 3, that means 2 to the power 2, that means 4 will be there. 2 to the power 3, okay, 8 will be there, and so on and so forth. So what is the meaning of saying grouping 1? So you are just making 1 as a group. This is only one group. What is the meaning of saying grouping 2? You take 2 of them and make them as group. That is the meaning, 2 elementals. What is the meaning of saying group them as 4? You have to take 4 of them and make them as one group. What is the meaning of saying 8? You have to take 8 of them and make them as group. So this is called as octa. So this is octa, generally called as octa. Okay. This is quad, 4 is quad. Okay. So this is quad, and this is pair. So this you are calling it as pair. Okay, 1. Okay. Now the question is, how do you do that? You simply don't draw the ones and the other. So when you want to make the group, there is a golden rule. The group can be like this. So the group you are going to draw it should be straight like this, or it can be like this, or it can be all the adjacent. You cannot group diagonally. So you cannot make like this. This is not allowed. Diagonal grouping is not allowed. Adjacent one you are allowed. Also, if you have 1 here, you can group this one with the other side one. It is allowed. Okay. Similarly, if you have 1 here, you can group them like this. Also, if you have all ones at all ones, here one, here one, here one, and here one, you can group all of them and make them as one quad. 4 is called as quad. It's allowed. Okay. Also, if you have just to say, if you have the elements 1 over here, you can make the quad from here also. Okay. That means you can combine the adjacent value even though they are on the other side. Okay, so this is connected actually to the other side. Now grouping has to be done only for ones, not with the 0. You cannot group, you don't touch the zeros here, you just touch the 1. Don't group zeros. Okay, so it's not required. Also, unnecessarily don't form the group. Now when you form the octa, that is octet, that is 2 to the power 3. Suppose if you form like this 8, now assume that this is 1, just assume that this is 1. Suppose if you form octa, okay, octet, then which are the variables you have over here. So A, B, C, D, any variable may be there. Okay, out of this, 3 of them will get reduced. Which one I don't know. 3 will get reduced. That means you are left with 1. Either A, C, whatever it is, but among the 4 variables, 3 of them will vanish. Your problem is to reduce, minimize the expression. So if you find octa, that means you can get rid of 3 variables. So that is, you are minimizing it. What if you find a quad? If you find a quad, among this A, B, C, D, whichever it is, 4 variables are there, 2 of them will vanish. Either A, B, C, D, whatever it is, 2 variables will get vanished. So you are still minimizing it. So when you form octa, 3 will go. So that is the highest minimization that you can get. Okay. When if it is more than that, you will lose all the variables. See, all the variables will become 0. To the power 4, that becomes 16. That means everything will vanish. But in that case, you don't have any circuit as such. But now, if you have 4 variables, 4, that is the quad over here, 2 of them will vary. Still, you are reducing it. Suppose if you have pair, just assume that you have a pair. In that case, among this variable A, B, C, D, one of them will vanish. Which one I don't, I'm not calculating it, but one of them will vanish. So that means if you find a pair, you can get rid of one of the variable. That means you are reducing it. If you find quad, you can reduce 2 variables, still reduction. If you find octa, you are reducing 3. So try to find octa first. If you find octa, 3 will vanish. That means reduction is the highest one. If you don't find octa, go for the quad. You have 2 variables getting vanished. If you can't find a quad, then go for a pair. At least one of them will vary. If you don't find anything, that means you are left with the one like this. You don't have no choice, then put all of them. Remember, if you have one here, all the variables will come. Okay, now let's look at the expression. Now our work is to find the highest grouping. So we try to find whether it is possible to form a octa. That is 8. Can we fix the 8? Now if you start from here, you get only 6 here. It's not 8. It's not possible. If you start doing like this, it's not possible. So that means in this particular question, you cannot get octa. So you cannot go for the maximum reduction. So remember, when you have octa, 3 variables will vanish. You are left with only 1. That's the highest reduction. It's not possible. So don't worry. If it is not possible, then go for the next possible, and that is the quad. You can't form the octa. You can't pair 8 of them together. It's not possible. Okay. Now again, don't say that. Okay, I will form 2 from here. This is 6 user, and I will then put 2 here. Then this becomes 8. It is not. In one stretch, it must form the octa. So now we have no choice of getting octa, that is octet 8. Let's go for the quad. So where do you find the quad? Now if you look at here, there are possibilities of making quad from here, from here, from here, and so on and so forth. You can easily form quad. So let's start with the first quad. So I'll take the first pair over here. So this is quad. All of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, forms the quad. Remember, out of this, when you form quad, out of this A, B, C, D, 2 of them will vanish. Always remember that. When you form a quad, 2 will vanish. Only you will be left with the 2 variables. Out of A, B, C, D, you will be left with 2 variables. Now, let's look at who is going to vanish, or which variable is going to vanish from here. Now, let's start from some of you, when you write the expressions during the examination, you just form this particular circle and then you simply write the final answer like this. The people don't know which among them was the grouping. So first you write which group that you are talking about. So I am talking about M0, M1, M5 and M4. So generally we go like this, in this order. We start from the bottom, we go up, then this way, then this way. So I'm going to go in that order. So I'm going to start with the M4. I have written M4, then M0, M0, then M1, then M1, then M5. Okay. What is the final expression that you are going to get? Now compare this one first. Compare this side. That means to say that you are going to compare these two sets. Okay. Here you have A dash B, and here that is this one, and along this row you have A dash B dash, that is corresponding 0 0. Okay. Now look at them. One of them is common. A dash is common. A dash is there, A dash is there, or A bar is there, A bar is there. B is changing. So B changes from B bar to B or B prime to B. Okay. B value is changing. Whichever variable is changing, okay, so whichever variable is changing, that's the one that's going to vanish. So B is going to vanish because it is changing from 0 to 1. You notice here, from 0 to 1 it is changing. A is not changing. So which is not changing? You write that one. So A is not changing. So along the horizontal, A is not changing. Now let's look at the other two over here along this direction. Okay, so let's look at M0 and the M1. So what is changing? So what you notice over here is the C dash is same and D dash is changing. Okay, so C dash is same and D dash is changing. Okay, so D dash will vanish. You are left with the C dash or C bar, whatever you call it as. Generally we call it as C bar because I'm used to looking at calling this as C bar, but I've drawn it as C dash. Okay, it's the same thing. So you have a C bar left over. So you have first one. Let's go for the pairing now. Remember, you may say that okay, you taken 4. Now what are you going to do? Are you going to pair these two? No. Always go for the maximum one. You can pair them, no doubt, but go for the maximum one. So when you are going for the maximum one, even if you have to overlap the other side, that's okay, because you know very well when you go for the larger one, octa, you are losing 3 variables. You want to minimize it. What is the meaning of saying minimizing it? Getting rid of as many variables as possible. So go for the octa, you will lose 3 variables. You will get rid of 3 variables. Octa is not possible. Go for quad, you will lose 2 variables. You are minimizing. Losing means you are reducing it. Okay. So let's look at the next one. Next I am going to take this one. Okay. So even though this one is overlapping, this is overlapping, it is shared, that's okay because you want to minimize it. Suppose if you take pair like this without touching them, that means in the pair only one variable get vanished. You are left with 3. You are not reducing it. But here 2 variables will vanish. If you make a quad, 2 variables will go. That means you are reducing it. But you can't form a octal here because 8 are not available. Okay. Now let's look at this one. Again I'm going to write from this direction. So I'm going to go from here and I'm going to come back like this. So I start with M5, M1, M3, M7. Okay, which one will vanish? You know very well. For this, you don't need to look at here. You have already written in the previous one. Among these two, what is remaining constant is a bar. So you write a bar. Now coming to this part, which one is changing? Among these two, you notice that C is changing to C bar. This C and C bar is changing, but D remains same. So you write it as D. So you got it. Let's go for the next choice. Now next choice is again, you can form a quad here. It's possible. Even though this one is shared between all the three, that's okay. You want to form a maximum grouping as possible. So let's go with this one. So now you are forming one more quad here. Again, I'm going to write it in this order. I'm going to take it in this order. From the bottom, I'm going to take it. So M12, M14, M5, M13. Among these two, M4 and M12 and M14, which one is changing? So let's look at these two sides now, this and this. So here you notice that A is changing, A bar and A is changing, but B remains same. So you write B. Okay. Among these two, you have already done that thing. Among these two, so C dash or C bar is constant, D is changing to D bar here and D here. So D is changing. So you write B. So C bar. So you have B C bar for this. Let's go to the next one. That is the next option over here. And let's look at this one. Remember last option. Now you notice that this one is shared between this group, this group, this group and this group. So it is shared among 4 groups, but that's okay. Why? Because you are forming a quad, and in quad, if you look at over here, A, B, C, D was the variable. B and D are vanished. So you got rid of B and this B and D, whatever it is, either in the true form or in the complement form. You got rid of 2 variables. Here also you got rid of 2 variables. C and B is not there. Here A and D is not there. So when you form the quad, you are getting rid of 2 variables. That means you are reducing it. When you get rid of 2 variables, that means you are reducing it. So you have reduced it. Now let's look at this one. I'm going to take M13, M5, M7, M15. Among these two, you have already done. Among these two over here, among these two, you notice that B is common and you are writing it. Among these two group along here, so which one is changing? You notice that C bar and C, it is changing. D remains same. So you write this one. So you have all of them, all the ones. Remember, you should not leave any one dangling. So all of them must be paired together. Once you have done that thing, these are all product terms. Add them together to make the sum of the products. So your final expression would be, you take the first term, that is AC, A bar C bar. You write it here, plus next term A bar D, next B bar B C bar and BD. So you write this expression. This is the reduced expression. Now you have to draw the circuit diagram for that. You know very well, for this term, all these terms should be represented with the AND gate. You use the AND gate for representing them. Adding them, you need OR gate. Adding them, you need OR gate. So you have one AND gate here, second AND gate, third AND gate, fourth AND gate. Output of all the gates has to be OR together to get the expression. Now I am going to use a simulator, and let me minimize this PowerPoint. I am going to copy this expression. I will take it to the simulator. Now this simulator is called as LogiSim, and LogiSim. Okay, this is called as LogiSim. Now whether it is required for you or I don't know. If you really are interested in that one, just search for the Logisim. Go to Google and then search Logisim in Google or in Bing or any other. You get this site, that is sribroj.com. From here also you can go, or you have the very easiest option, sourceforge.net. You go here from get it. If you click on the first one, that is Sribraj, you're going to go to this Logisim website, okay, and you click on this download, and you have the download, and again it's going to go to the SourceForge, and go to this SourceForge and just download it. You don't need to install it. It's an exe file. Double click and it's going to run, provided you have, I think you require Java. Okay, so you require Java to run this one. So you need to install the Java SDK on your system in order for you to run that thing. Now, in this one, you can have the sources. So you can click here and then get a source, and you have the destination, that is the input and output. Then we have the different gates. This is AND gate, this is OR gate, and this is NOT gate. Apart from that, you also have the different options over here. So you have a memory, D flip-flop, and so on, arithmetic expressions for adder, subtractor, and so on and so forth, and so on. You may learn them in your future, but as of now we don't require them. Then why I am advertising this particular software is there is a good thing about this software is, if you go to this project, and if you go and say analyze circuit, you will be given a option like this. In this dialog box, you can straight away type the expression and get the circuit diagram for that. That is what I'm going to do it. So I'm going to copy this one. Microsoft is giving me suggestion, but I'm not interested in the spelling correction. I'm going to just paste it. Remember, you can't do this one. I've just pasted. What I've done is I've just copied this from here and I have pasted it here. Now this is not the way in which you are supposed to write it. For them, A prime is not the way of representing. For them, tilde has to be there, so it is near the escape key. A bar means this is tilde A, and this is again C bar. So wherever you get this one, you have to put the spaces in between all the variables. So that is what is required as far as the software. So D bar, this is how you represent, tilde and then D bar. Again B, and if you want to C, again tilde and C, and then B and D. So in the true form you don't need to do anything, but if you want this bar over, then this symbol, that is tilde symbol, has to be then. I'm going to press enter, and you notice the same expression is what you are expecting. A bar C bar plus A D bar and B C bar and BD. Okay, and you have a option called as build circuit. I'm going to just click on this and say build circuit. It's going to say, because I've drawn something over here, do you want to clear all of them? I say okay, and then say yes. And if you go to this particular simulator now, it will build the circuit. However, there are some minor issues that you need to take care during the examination. Whenever you have this kind of thing over here, you don't write like this. Okay, whenever you get whenever you are crossing it, cross it like this. Okay, don't write straight. It means these two lines are not joining. So these two lines are not joining. Whenever you get this one, so write like this. So just jump like this. It means two lines are not joining. Otherwise, it means to say that the lines are joining. Even though they say they put a dot here to say that this is a connection, and wherever that you see this dot kind of thing is not there, that is not a connection. But in the examination, or the examiners don't have that kind of patience. So when you draw it, you do that thing. Next one is, If you look at this particular option over here, you notice that the output of it is not something. So you have a NOT gate here, and here also you have a NOT gate here. Now drawing two NOT gates in your examination can take a lot of time. So what you can do is you can straight away, so you got this C and you have this C bar, straight away from here only, remember, jump it and jump it and jump and then get it, so that you don't need to draw the NOT gate two times from here only. So this is C bar is given over here, C bar is given to this one. So that way you can reduce the drawing, otherwise you will take a lot of time to draw. Let me show this expression. Let me take it here and let me compare it with I'm going to just get this PowerPoint in full screen, and then I'm going to get my simulator output, this one. Let's look at see whether I can reduce the size of it and then just show you what I have what it has drawn is whether it is correct or not. Remember, when it is drawing it, it will take the NOT gate separately, but that's not really required. For the examination, you will be simply wasting your time in drawing unnecessary NOT gates. So let's look at the first term, A bar C bar. So you have A here, and when it goes from the NOT gate, it becomes A bar here. You have C here, and when it comes crosses the NOT gate, it becomes C bar. So this is A bar C bar. Then you have this A bar, then you have this what did I do? Okay, I think I didn't put tilde there. Okay, just 1 minute. So this is tilde, D was there. So let me just go here to the simulator. I think I made it as this is this should have been tilde D A and then D. I think I made it other way around. Sorry about that. So let me zoom in for you. This is not the expression. The expression should have been this. Okay, this is tilde this. Okay, a good thing is this particular whoever has done this one. So this is A bar T. So this is, if you look at here, this is A bar T. So this is A bar D, and I can say build it again. Okay, yes, and it's going to build the circuit for me. That is good. So whoever has done it, hats off to the developer who has developed this one. So it is much easier for me to explain the things, and it is meant for the student. That's why it's free. You don't have to pay for this particular software. So let's look at the next part, and you have A bar, and from here A, this is A, you get it from the NOT. When it passes the NOT, it becomes A bar. Then you have D here, from here you get this one D, so you have A bar D. Then we have B C bar, so you have this B coming directly to this one, and then C going from the NOT gate to C bar. Remember, in the examination you can reduce this writing to NOT gate by first making it as the C bar and then directly taking the output of the C bar. The last one is BD, so you take from the B and from the D. Again, during the examination, whenever you have this kind of junction, make the jump here so that it is easier for anybody to know that you are not going to touch them. And finally, you have to OR them, all these gates. So you put all of them and connect them to the OR gate, and this will be the output of it. That's all in this video. Thank you for your interest. We will meet again with the next video.